Well now, James, they've changed the regulations concerning the airboxes and the wings, and yet you're still extremely fast. How do you do it?
Big balls.
Hello Forza fans! Yes, it's Formula 70's weekend featured multiplayer, and like our friend James Hunt, we've opted for the 1976 McLaren. This will turn out to be somewhat of a mistake, as the Ferrari seemed in the end to be the strongest car, but we stuck to our guns and in some cases were the fastest driver on track. But luck and other incidents weren't exactly on our sides. So as we go into race 1 here at the recently added Hockenheim, the less said about this the better, frankly. At the start, I was late into the session, so I started at the back. I thought this might be a good plan. I got into a little collision there at the start, but as we go through the third turn, I just get it all sorts of wrong and get out of shape off circuit. As I get it all back together, here I am behind Eric Gouchy, and they are all over the place, frankly. So I take the position back, but you are about to see something that pretty much goes against the Geneva Convention. I see that they're on my inside, so even as we sweep into turn 1, look, the arrow is orange, so I take a wide line, give them plenty of space, but they don't return the favour and just smash me off the circuit. This was only a 3-lap race and we're already on to lap 2. I got a avoidable contact penalty for that one as well. Well, we came home in 19th, and there's no point really dwelling on that disaster of a race, so let's move on. In race 2 around Maple Valley, things were starting to look up, and I'd done a little bit of practice to reflect on that awful race 1. So we were quite well prepared for this one. 11 laps, and I'd gone for a high downforce setup because I thought, even though this is a really fast circuit, there's a lot of corners. And look at this, as I just easily have the grip to go around the outside, and later on you'll see down the inside there as well. I thought that's a pretty decent decision. I've got a lot of grip in the corners, the car's not getting very loose, and I'm keeping up with these guys a lot better than it looked in Hockenheim. But things did set us back in Hockenheim in terms of contacts and so on, but the car just did not feel good. It felt very loose. So as the guys in front get together there, I am already up to 5th. Once again, I didn't qualify, but that was because I was just really dead set on getting a lot of practice done. I was worried that this was going to be a complete washout of a week, to be honest, so I just wanted to be pretty competent in the car. Again, I'm catching quite a bit in the corners, but I got too much speed up there, and as Alpha in front of me goes off the track a little bit, I am wondering whether I actually do have the pace after all. But look, my cornering speeds just do seem to be better, so the high downforce approach does seem to be good. But you will see, well, as they drive off the track, it certainly seems a good option to have high downforce, but you will see in a bit that I do suffer a little bit from not having the top end speed. But I just feel like these corners here definitely benefit from having a safe car underneath you. So as lap 1 comes to a close, we are into 4th, and I'm thinking it's time to start chasing the podium, so we'll just skip ahead into lap 2, where I'm catching KFC Bargain Boy. P2 there, Floris 36 I think it was, gets it all wrong, kicks up the signboards and goes off the circuit. So we are now in a fight for second place. Is it possible to get a win? It certainly seems like it, but I just don't seem to have quite what it takes. I was going to go dive down the inside there, but it was a really shallow line and I was just worried about going wide and hitting into the side of them, so I pulled out of that move. As we dive into turn 1, you're about to see some of that grip I was talking about a moment ago. I get it break down to speed, and then look, I'm just able to be way more confident on the throttle, look, and I could just drive down the inside. But then you are going to see the issues with the downforce, although I do make a mistake as well. So I think, hey, I can just pull away and try and catch the 7-second gap ahead of me here. But it doesn't go to plan. Look, I'm getting caught. I was looking in my mirrors a little bit and went off. There was no contact there. There was nothing dirty. I just got caught out thinking they were going to go down my inside. So as we go on to lap 4, I basically try and pull off the same sort of move, but they're smart and cover off the inside a little more. So I'm going to have to go around the outside, and it doesn't quite work out. This is quite a nice little fight actually. KFC Bargain Boy was definitely being fair, and they weren't blocking me aggressively in any way or anything like that. I just couldn't get my car past them at the right points of the circuit, and then didn't have the straight line speed to make it stick down the straights. So this was a really fun battle, but the entire time I am losing on first place, so that win is just slipping away. I didn't expect them to go off the track there, so that little collision was just a little love tap. Nothing doing there, no harm done. Obviously I didn't mean to do it, and they drifted in front of me. So really just losing. Look, we're 11 seconds behind the leader now, so I've pretty much decided that unless I can get an absolutely flying second half of the race after the pit stops, we are just going to have to deal with this. No way past there. I didn't have a clear run down the inside or the outside, so I just had to ease off and stay behind. But this is quite a nice little battle to watch, because KFC Bargain Boy is certainly driving well, certainly not blocking me. They run a little off the circuit, but I'm just having to be careful behind them. Look, my pace into the corners is good, my grip is good because of the high downforce that I've picked. But again, can't really get any kind of burst of power to make a dive down the inside or the outside of any corner in particular, so pretty much I just have to settle for these laps and hope that maybe something might go wrong for them where I can nip ahead into this section. Again, look, I've got more grip, so I put it down the inside. We just collide. I think that was a racing incident. I think they were trying to take the racing line and I was trying to stay out of their way, and we just banged wheels. Nothing serious. I do end up getting some good pace into the little chicane there and taking it, and they dive into the pits behind me. So as I dive into the pits in what is easily the most comfortable pit entry of all time, and I definitely was never in any danger of smashing into the wall, we come out and we are right behind them frustratedly, so they must have had a pretty good lap without me there. And we have it all to do again. But as we come to the end of lap 7, luck is slightly on my side here. I floor it through here. They just dink off the wall, I think, and get on the grass. So that P2 is now mine, and I'm looking to stretch my legs. But even though I catch a couple of seconds on P1 and get the fastest lap of the race with a 25.9, I cannot get close. But at least it's a podium, look. Up 5 positions from our start, so that is very positive. Well done, KFC Bargain Boy, for a good race anyway. I enjoyed that battle. And FJ Alaska, well done for just stretching out that lead at the front. Nothing I could really do in the end. But it's certainly looking better than the first race, that's for sure. For the third race at Lime Rock Park, you join me during practice where I'm catching this group of cars. Now watch this mess. Rick ORPG there gets together with the car in front, as you can see. They go spinning off the circuit. I get rammed out of the way by this other car. And I think that's pretty much the end of it. Nothing really to comment on. This wouldn't even be in the video. But then, notice the car behind me. That is the car that just got contacted by a different driver, but driving a McLaren. Oh, thank you for the bump draft. Wait a minute. Wait, I'm trying to... No, wait. And they have absolutely smashed me off the circuit. And really, when we rejoin, this stupidity carries on. So not only have they misidentified the person who hit them, but also they've got a terrible, terrible attitude and have just rammed me off the track. Bearing in mind, this is practice, doesn't have any bearing on the race at all. And you can just hit escape anyway. There's not really any need to retaliate. You can just restart your lap. So let's hope for a clean race at the very least then. So I'm starting in third. My pace was pretty good. I was only a couple of tenths behind the other cars. And with high downforce being pretty important at this one, I thought I might fare quite well against the Ferraris that have seemed to be the strongest. I just dip my huge rear tyre on the grass there, get myself out of shape, and once again I am up against it because I've put myself down from a pretty good position where I thought I might be able to win this race into 6th. I get hit there in the corner, but no big deal. Hopefully I won't come across that driver from practice again. And I do actually get another collision in the back. I'm so sorry for my lack of pace down the straights. I have once again optimized for corners because this is a rather quick short lap, but with plenty of corners and this pretty slow chicane here. I get overtaken anyway. They pull in front of me in the braking zone. I've got to be honest, I didn't really expect that to happen. And I am down to 7th place. So once again, it's a fight back, but there's 17 laps in this race, so hopefully we can indeed get a decent result. As we start lap 2, I get it slightly wrong, go deep again. I don't want to get on that grass. I do. So I'm going to lose yet another position. Down to 8th we go. It's now pretty much all for me to do. There's plenty of laps to do it in though, so I'm not too concerned. I'm not going to let it go to my head too much and put me off. But I am aware now that I am kind of getting backed into the pack, so things might be pretty difficult from here. I just get through on the chicane, get hit again, even though I feel like I took a really wide line through there, to be honest, gave plenty of space. It just seems to be the theme of this week that in these Formula One cars, people are just coming into contact with each other quite a lot. Oh wait, as I do it myself. But of course, that was a pretty slow exit from the chicane. I just didn't expect to have to slow down quite that much. They were out of shape though, and maybe that was my bad for not seeing it, or maybe it was just a racing incident. So as we break down into turn 1, am I going to get it wrong again? No, I'm not, but they are. So I just nipped down the inside. Thank you very much. I will take 6th place back. So we're going to skip ahead then to the end of lap 4, where I think I've got a run, but once again, the downforce situation really is putting me at a deficit. I can't decide at this point now whether it's purely just the downforce. Anyway, I get another good run through the inside like I did on the previous lap on the Ferrari. This time get collided with, which is pretty standard. If you watch my live stream recently, that seems to be pretty standard, that people turn in on you regardless of where you are in the corner. So I'm behind the mighty cog now and absolutely fly into the pits in the hope that I can get up. So I'm down into 8th on lap 10 because of my pit stop, but I think I pitted earlier than some people, so we're just going to see how we do. And wow, the car in front of me, I think that was Daya, absolutely flew off of the first corner. They didn't brake at all, did they? I look like I've got a pretty good run through the chicane here. Fuego there just holds the liner and keeps it cleanly, but they're clearly going into the pits, so I'll take that position back and I'm up into 4th. As we reach the end of the lap, I just get the door closed on me by Can-Do, but I decided it's not worth making any kind of contact or any kind of dive there because they have a 2-second penalty. So we are going to come through to finish on the podium once again. So after a really bad start at Hockenheim, we are actually getting a 2nd place in the last race and 3rd place in this one. So things are starting to look up. I'm wondering whether we can get a win at the next one as 2nd and 3rd do a disappearing act once again. So here we are at Mugello and I have qualified 10th, I think it was, but I'm already down to 11th at the start. This is a really long run to the first corner, and you know what's been happening with my McLaren top end speed? Not been so great, but you will see. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, and oh dear. People not really getting to grips with their braking point, which is pretty important to not be a rammer at a circuit like this with a huge run down to turn 1. I'm going to stick with the first lap here as a car scrapes past me. We just get a bit stuck together. I certainly wasn't deliberately trying to stay with them or knock them out the way. It's just the way things turned out there. Now I'm getting overtaken by Ferraris left, right and centre here. It's clearly now becoming the car to choose as I get another collision from behind. I'm starting to think the win is certainly slipping away from me today. I'm just going to have to accept that I'm going to have to try to finish in as high a finishing position as I can here. Astro goes wide, but not wide enough. Actually stays on enough on the track. I thought they were going to go into the gravel. I just have to slow right down there though for them into that corner. There's a bit of dust kicked up ahead but I am down to 16th, and it's not looking very good for the final race. I've got pretty good cornering skills again in the McLaren. This is where it's all going to go wrong for me though. Through this tight chicane, I try to keep a huge gap look on the inside, but I've got a car hassling me to the right, sorry, and then I sort of lose sight of the car on my left and end up spinning, which is quite embarrassing. There's a car having trouble here as I fight for 19th place. I get clonked into once again, thinking I'd left absolutely tons of room for them on the inside. This one was certainly slipping away very quickly. After these contacts, actually, Pika Boss quit the race. I don't know if they got disconnected. It was all very sudden. So I'm fighting for 14th place with Coinzilla. I decided to keep this in on lap 7 because I go quite deep, but this was probably one of the better races I had of the day. Watch this as we break down. I'm not going to be able to go for a crazy dive down the inside there. That wouldn't be fair for either of us. But we are really tussling, and this is only over 13th place now. I think by the end of the race, this turns out to be a battle for 11th. I'm a little quicker through the corners there again. I don't know if I can put it down to the McLaren because we're both in the same car by the looks of things. I hadn't gone for a high downforce setup here either. I'd just gone for the regular setup. So I get a run onto the start-finish straight as we start lap 8. Can I avoid going wide this time? Can I get my braking point correct? They've slipped slightly behind me, but it's going to be close. So I brake down into the corner. They stay away from the rear of my car, and I don't get such a bad exit either. So it all works out there. I've taken that position, or so I think. But actually, Coinzilla really having a great battle with me. So I'm trying to leave as much space as possible where possible. And then the following lap, as we start the final lap of the race, lap 9 of 9, they get a run on me this time. I brake, try and stay on the inside, hoping to get a better run out, but they made it stick. Really good fair racing. I want to make sure I keep it fair. I think we do have a little coming together, but it just ends up being a bit of a wheel bang. Look, I get a decent exit here. We don't quite come together here. I leave space on the inside, but oh, they just come across a tiny bit. But I mean, that's no big deal. We're having a really good race. I'm starting to wonder whether that 11th is going to be mine or not. I lose a bit of ground there. But as we come into the final part of the lap, I've had good grip through here on the last few laps with other drivers. So I just want to stay there, see if I can get a run to the start-finish line down the straight. But they just get it slightly wrong, and look in the mirrors there. They got into the gravel. So I will take that position. Thank you very much as we finish the race on minor tyre wear. That is an 11th place. So disappointing finish, but a really good race there with Coinzilla. 2 podiums, but a lot of contacts this week. Hopefully we can get back to winning ways in the next one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or like the video if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.